Good morning friends, welcome to the point. In this video we will study about two agreements related to taxation. So the first one is Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement and the another one is Tax Information Exchange Agreement. So we'll start with Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement. Now friends, one thing you need to understand is that for every government of every single country, taxation as a source of revenue is very important. How? Because of that revenue that is collected as taxation, it is through this revenue that the government runs different welfare schemes and provides subsidy to the farmers. So every government tries to maximize the collection of taxation from the people of its country. So consider one case. For an example, there is a company which is incorporated in France. Okay, so the head office is in France and it opens its branch office in India. Okay, now the income earned by the branch office or a subsidiary in India will be taxed by the Indian government, right? And when this office repatriates or send back the profit or plow back the profit to the head office, so the France government will also levy the tax on the same income. So what is happening here is that the income is same, but there is double taxation on the income, once by the Indian government and other by the France government. So if you look from the government's point of view, then it is a very nice thing that the Indian government is also collecting taxes and the France government is also collecting taxes. But if you see from the company's point of view, it is really getting harassed as it has to pay double taxation on the same income that it earned in India. So once it paid tax on the same income in India, and on the same income it had to pay tax in France also by the virtue that it has the head office in France. So it is called as double taxation of the income. So to avoid this situation, that is the harassment caused to the taxpayer, the countries or the government of the two countries or more countries enter into an agreement whereby they agree that or come to certain terms and conditions that which country will levy tax in which cases. So for example, India and France enters into a double taxation avoidance agreement. So by this agreement they agree that if any company which is located in France opens its branch office or a subsidiary office in India, so it is the Indian government who has the right to collect the tax, and the France government will not levy tax on that same income. And the Indian government also promises the same, that if any company which is incorporated in India but opens its office or some branch office in France, so it is the France government that has the right to collect or levy tax on that income, and the Indian government would not levy tax on the same amount of income. So by this it prevents taxpayers and it helps them from not paying tax on the same income twice. So it also, if you see, promotes ease of doing businesses for the taxpayers, as now they have clarity as to where they are liable to pay tax, and they are not unnecessarily dragged into tax litigations explaining tax officials that they have already paid tax in so and so country. These or such type of agreements make it very clear for the companies operating overseas. So we'll quickly go through the slide. A Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement or DTAA is a tax treaty signed between two or more countries with an objective that taxpayers in these countries should not be taxed twice for the same income. A DTAA applies in cases where taxpayer resides in one country and earns income in another. As in this case, the head office is located in France, but it is operating in India as well. So it helps such taxpayers. DTAAs are intended to make country an attractive investment destination by providing relief on dual taxation. Such relief is provided by exempting income earned abroad from tax in the resident country. India has signed DTAA with more than 80 countries. So as of now, I suppose India has such agreements with 88 countries. So I hope it is clear to you know by now that what is double taxation avoidance agreement. Most of the countries try to negotiate it with the other countries so that it can encourage international investments in their respective countries. Now we'll go through the advantages of the agreement. So first, it prevents double taxation of the same income in the hands of taxpayer, as I told you. So the harassment that is caused to the taxpayer by paying double tax on the same income is prevented by this. The next thing is it helps in reducing tax evasion practices as the countries are clear with respect to taxing authority. So what many companies used to do is they used to take advantage of the loophole in the taxation system, as the countries were not clear as to who will evade tax. So a lot of countries used to evade the taxes. So now by this, if at the same time it helps the taxpayer from avoiding paying double tax on the same income, it also helps the government of the countries in avoiding tax evasion practices that were followed by the companies. Next, it helps in boosting bilateral ties and cross-border investment between the countries. How? Because it promotes ease of doing businesses. Companies are no more harassed by the tax officials and providing them notices or serving the notices, giving clarity as to that they have already paid the tax in the respective country. So it definitely encourages ease of doing the business. Moving on to the next type of agreement, that is tax information exchange agreement. Now this agreement is all about effective exchange of information between the two countries. For example, if Indian government wants information about any company that is incorporated in India but is operating overseas in many countries, so there might be a situation where the Indian government would require certain information from the respective countries. So for ease of information flow, such agreements are entered between the countries so that the government are not reluctant in sharing the information. So what most of the countries do to encourage investments, they try to hide or they try to conceal the information asked by the resident country. So if India is asking information from Mauritius, so Mauritius government, in order to encourage the investment, would be reluctant to provide Indian government the information asked by them. So sometimes it causes lot of loss to the exchequer of the resident country. So to avoid such situation, many countries enter into such agreements with each other for effective exchange of information. Now the information could pertain to bank accounts or the ownership details or the taxation details. So it is an agreement between the two countries for effective exchange of information. The objective of this agreement is to provide international cooperation in taxation matters by exchanging tax related information. This agreement was originally formulated by OECD and promoted the effective exchange of information including banking and ownership, as I told you. Now these agreements are not binding, they are effective only to the time that is stipulated in the agreement. So let's suppose India and Mauritius is getting into an agreement for effective exchange of information. So while entering into an agreement, both the government will decide as to how long they both would be cooperating with each other. So let's suppose the tenure is 5 years. After 5 years, it will stand null and void until unless it is again ratified or renewed by both the countries. So it is only effective till the time that is stipulated in the agreement. So friends, we have covered two types of agreement related to tax. So first was double taxation avoidance agreement, and the another one was tax information exchange agreement. I hope both the topics were easy for you to understand, and as there was not much of technical details that was involved. So friends, this is all for today's video. Just go through the slides once again if you feel like after the video is over. Stay fit, stay at home. Thank you so much.